Hoop session number 2. We in here getting it in. Get ready. What we doing, man?
We running the court. They got the bomb squad.
And they still lost.
Look, Trey on the thing.
This story, I said it before, but I'm gonna say it again. I was in the gym. I wanted to say I was getting ready for Chris Diaz or something. And he was sparring like a heavyweight fighter. I'm looking, I'm type nervous for him. I'm like, why is he in the ring with this big old dude? And man, I swear he done caught this dude on the shin. Boom! Dude, wobbling all around the ring.
Terence Crawford has recently released a new training video ahead of his highly anticipated showdown with Canelo Alvarez. It's clear from the footage that he's preparing for more than just an ordinary fight. His coach, Brian "Bo-Mag" McIntyre, is also not holding back. He has brought in a key asset to the training camp, Lester Martinez. Martinez isn't just physically similar to Canelo, he's genuinely dangerous. He recently delivered a devastating 4th-round knockout to Johan James, who had previously never tasted defeat. Achieving a finish like that requires a deadly combination of speed and power. That's exactly why Bo-Mag wants him pushing Crawford to his limits in every sparring session.
Kid, man, nobody really heard about him. Some of them heard about him. But his name is Lester Martinez, man. He's from Guatemala. And man, that boy bad as shit. I tell you, 168 pounds, he bad as shit. He got a couple to world championships, 168 pounds.
Martinez is a natural super middleweight, the same division where Canelo reigns supreme. Crawford, on the other hand, has never fought in that weight class. He dominated at 140 pounds, conquered 147, had a brief stint at 154, and is now diving headfirst into the challenge of fighting at 168 pounds, a significant leap into unfamiliar territory against a pound-for-pound legend. Canelo has faced and defeated larger opponents before, dealing with more raw power than Crawford has ever experienced. Still, neither Crawford nor Bo-Mag appears concerned about the size difference.
That believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. This is real simple. It's real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do, perform.
Bo-Mag didn't sugarcoat anything when asked about the weight difference. He acknowledged it but brushed off its significance. "No, the size doesn't concern me," he said. Terence has incredible vision inside the ring and elite boxing IQ. The only person who can beat Terence is Terence. Such confidence isn't new from Crawford's team, but this time, the challenge is steeper, as they face a naturally bigger and stronger opponent in Canelo. Bo-Mag admitted that feeling nervous is part of the process, but it's not what drives them. He firmly believes in Crawford's skills and mental toughness. For Bo-Mag, this fight is about legacy, proving the doubters wrong and rewriting what many believed was impossible.
Crawford, that the size and the strength of Canelo Alvarez will carry the day, ultimately wearing the perceivably smaller Terence Crawford down. What do you say about that?
I tell you like this, the man must have seen something when he called Canelo out, because you got to remember, Bud called Canelo out. So he must see something in order for him to get that win. And he know he can win. So like I said before, it's our job to get him to that point.
Crawford is chasing a feat no fighter in this generation has accomplished, becoming undisputed champion in 3 different weight classes. He already cleaned out the 140-pound division, then repeated the achievement at 147 with a dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr., where he dropped and stopped the previously unbeaten unified champion. Now, is making the massive leap to 168 to challenge the king of that division, Canelo Alvarez. There's no easy path here, no tune-up fights, just a direct shot at the top. When asked if this is Crawford's toughest challenge yet, Bo-Mag didn't hesitate. "Absolutely," he replied, pointing to Canelo's long list of accomplishments.
I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No.
That one line perfectly captures the level of respect Crawford's camp holds for Canelo. His accolades, experience, and victories speak for themselves, names like Golovkin, Kovalev, Plant, Smith, and Saunders. Canelo has battled and beaten some of the toughest and most renowned fighters across multiple weight classes.
There's no Trout on Bud's resume. There's no Daniel Jacobs on Bud's resume. Canelo is the one that's fought the elite level opposition. It's Canelo that fought Laura. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. There is no Laura on Bud's resume. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ. Bud has never faced a multiple division champ.
Yeah, but Bud is an elite boxer.
So you're an elite boxer, but you
That wealth of experience brings more than just refined technique. It brings patience, poise, and masterful timing. Canelo has perfected the art of controlling a fight. He knows when to slow the pace, when to attack, and how to make his opponents feel his presence, even during the quietest moments in the ring.
You gotta beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. You know, when I look at Canelo, he's a smaller, bigger guy moving up in divisions. You know, being that these big guys are slower, so they might catch him with something, but he might see it at the last moment. You know, they might catch him with a hard shot, but he's able to roll.
That was something Dmitry Bivol also highlighted. The Russian light heavyweight, one of only 2 men to have defeated Canelo, was recently ringside and shared his thoughts with Fight Hub TV after Canelo's victory over Skull. Bivol emphasized that Crawford's mental toughness would be the key factor. He praised Crawford's mindset, calling it that of a true champion, and stated that this alone could change the entire dynamic of the fight.
Here for Fight Hub TV with Terence Crawford. What do you make of Canelo versus Skull?
Canelo did what he had to do to get the victory.
What do you want next? It seems like that's going to be the fight. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, the biggest fight in boxing.
Well, Canelo's the face of boxing. He's the best fighter for Terence Crawford out there. He's the biggest fight for Terence.
Reflecting on Canelo's fight with Skull, Bivol observed that Canelo dictated the tempo from start to finish. Whenever Canelo needed to take a breather, he did so without feeling any pressure, but Bivol doesn't see that happening against Crawford. He predicts a fight where there will be no easy pauses and no uncontested moments. In his view, Crawford will constantly challenge Canelo's rhythm, refusing to let him settle or control the pace freely. It's a perspective rooted in first-hand experience. Bivol knows exactly how hard it is to disrupt Canelo's command inside the ring.
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants. Because we could see this fight, Canelo did everything. When he wanna rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. Just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Even so, Crawford isn't Dmitry Bivol. He didn't start his career at 175 pounds. His natural weight class was 135. Every step up has been earned through dedication, growth, and strategic development. Now at 168, he faces an opponent who can absorb punches that once devastated welterweight. This means Crawford's speed, precision, and ring IQ must scale with him. He'll need to deliver power that commands respect while maintaining his trademark sharpness. Balancing this delicate mix is the camp's primary focus, and that's exactly why Lester Martinez has been brought into training, to replicate Canelo's pressure and strength during sparring.
I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language, the size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing.
This blockbuster event will be staged under Dana White's TKO banner, a joint venture between White and Saudi boxing figure Turki-Alalchik. It marks White's official entry into boxing promotion since the TKO brand was formed, and they are kicking things off in spectacular fashion. The bout is scheduled for September 12th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, as part of Riyadh season. Turki-Alalchik has called it the fight of the century, and has hinted at major streaming partnerships soon to be announced. This isn't just a championship bout, it's a cultural moment, bridging fan bases as 2 global icons bring elite talent and massive star power to the ring.
in September. Ask him if you want to answer.
So is Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White clearly stating that the first main event / card we're going to see of TKO boxing is Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford? Is this all a part of Turki Al-Sheikh's blueprint for Canelo Alvarez to fight for undisputed in May?
There's even fan speculation that the fight might stream live on Netflix. Turki Al-Sheikh played a pivotal role in making this matchup a reality, responding to public demand and likely navigating intense behind-the-scenes negotiations. At one point, Canelo had dismissed the idea of fighting Crawford, calling it a no-win scenario due to the size difference, believing that if he won, critics would discredit it, and if he lost, his legacy would suffer. But that outlook changed once Al-Sheikh got involved. Canelo explained, "Everyone's been calling for this fight. My godfather, Turki Al-Sheikh, wanted it. That's why we're doing it.
We'll fight you in the future. Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance."
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to that.
For Crawford, this fight isn't about the spotlight or the paycheck. Following Canelo's win over Skull, he said, "I feel grateful. Everything unfolds for a reason, and I believe there's purpose in this moment. Come September, I'm going to prove what greatness really is." These aren't just words for Crawford, they reflect his personal code. He's always carried himself with quiet confidence and only speaks when it matters. Asked why he believes he can beat Canelo, his reply was simple but powerful: "Because I'm the best." And that, he says, is why fans will tune in on September 12th.
No, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a...
Canelo acknowledged the respect between them, saying, "Crawford's one of the top guys in the sport. I enjoy sharing the ring with fighters like that." Coming from someone who has faced legends like Shane Mosley, Floyd Mayweather, and Gennady Golovkin, that kind of praise is meaningful. The respect is mutual, but make no mistake, this is still a serious clash. Coach Brian "Bo-Mac" McIntyre also hinted that this could be Crawford's final appearance. At nearly 38, with championships across multiple divisions and nothing left to prove, retiring on top seems like a real possibility. "Yeah, it probably is," Bo-Mac said, with absolute certainty in his voice.
I can see him doing it, Is it a challenge for him? Yeah, of course. It's a challenge for the whole team? Yeah, of course. And that's something that we in the business for. Being great. I mean, we all can retire from that after that. You know what I'm saying? We can retire after that, and we just sit back and do what you're doing.
This moment represents the culmination of a journey that's been building for years. If Crawford pulls it off, he will stand alone at the summit of modern boxing, undisputed at 135, 140, 147, and now 168 pounds. No one in this generation has accomplished such a feat since the WBO became recognized alongside the WBC, WBA, and IBF as a major world title. Only Alexander Usyk and Naoya Inoue have come close, but neither has taken on the challenge Crawford is about to face. While Canelo coasted to a clear victory over William Skull, much of the post-fight conversation focused less on Canelo's performance and more on the lack of intensity from a matchup that many expected to deliver far more fireworks. Throughout the bout, Skull stayed on the move, often excessively, circling and backpedaling rather than standing his ground. He spent nearly all his energy avoiding danger, offering little in the way of offense. Canelo tried to cut off the ring, trap him, and land meaningful shots, but Skull's elusive style made it difficult to sustain any real success. The fight followed a repetitive pattern, Canelo advancing, Skull retreating, with minimal exchanges and very few electrifying moments. For fans expecting a thrilling contest, especially on such a grand stage, the fight turned out to be a disappointment that lacked the fire and momentum they had hoped for.
Is Canelo
waiting you out, avoiding you? How would you describe the fact that you haven't fought him yet?
To be honest with you, I don't know what that man is doing. You know, I feel like every time I say something, people try to say that, oh, I'm looking for a payday, I'm doing for this and that. But I've been the mandatory fighter for the past 2 years. You know, I won a title eliminator first, and I won WBC interim, and that guarantees you a spot. So the fact that this fight hasn't happened is really crazy to me. But
Claressa Shields didn't hold back in her critique of the fight. She echoed what many in the boxing world were thinking, that both fighters contributed to the underwhelming contest. As a two-time Olympic gold medalist and one of the sport's most respected champions, her opinion carries weight. Shields emphasized that it's the aggressor's job to cut off the ring and force the action. It's on both fighters, she said. If you're fighting someone who's moving constantly, it's your job to make them fight. This kind of fight hurts the sport.
Absolutely crap, load of rubbish. The fight really was a waste of time. If you haven't watched it, don't watch it, because there's better things you can be doing, like probably watching the grass grow or watching some paint dry maybe. But that fight was a total waste of time. Watching that as a former unified super middleweight world boxing champion and Hall of Famer, I was thinking to myself, what an opportunity you've got there. If I was fighting still 10 years ago, that opportunity came up for me. I know.
Shields' take resonated with many, especially fans who had paid to watch what they expected to be an all-action bout, not a game of tag. Oscar de la Hoya, never one to pass up a chance to criticize Canelo, also voiced his frustration. He directly blamed Alvarez for picking an opponent known for a defensive, Cuban style of movement. You're earning millions fighting a guy we all knew would dance around the ring, de la Hoya said. You picked him, and now you're complaining about it. His comments pointed to a broader frustration among fans and pundits alike, that Canelo has been strategically avoiding high-risk opponents in recent years. Still, it's important to note that Canelo's clash with William Skull wasn't entirely by choice. The fight became necessary after Alvarez was stripped of his IBF title for declining a mandatory challenge from Skull. When Skull claimed the vacant belt, the path back to undisputed status required Canelo to face him. This wasn't a hand-picked payday, it was an obligation. Yet, despite that context, the result did little to bolster Canelo's image heading into the mega showdown with Crawford. Fans had hoped for a performance that built momentum. Instead, Canelo walked away with a win that lacked sizzle. De La Hoya continued pushing his narrative, saying, "We all know who we want you to beat," referencing the undefeated David Benavidez. Take on Benavidez. He won't run. That challenge reflects the growing demand for Canelo to face the relentless powerhouse known for his pressure and high volume, a stark contrast to Skull. De La Hoya didn't stop there, criticizing the entire matchmaking system, saying, "It's a good fight, but it's a shame this starts from the top," taking a jab at boxing's promotional and matchmaking politics.
Canelo, Jesus Lord, come on. You're getting paid all this money to fight against a runner who we all knew was gonna run, the Cuban style. You chose him, and now you say you hate fighting runners? Well then, don't fight runners. We all know who we want to see